Partnerships, community, podcast, friends presented by Atio Happy Thursday, Future Party. If you plan to see A24's Primetime, a thriller about To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen, on September 25th, you may be surprised to see the most unlikely of ads in the pre-show, a spot for Hansen's streaming network, True Blue. That's right, Hansen is advertising himself in front of a movie that will likely be critical of his infamous freewheeling approach to justice. He made sure to buy the ad space in front of every single screening of Primetime in the country. It might be the savviest marketing move of the year. Daily top trends, YouTube, Breeder X, Twitter, Ridley Scott Google, Tim Curry Reddit, Dolly Parton Letterboxd, The End of Oak Street Spotify, The Light That Surrounds You, Meta, admits that its apps aren't good for kids. Meta settled a landmark case brought by 48 state attorneys general and 4 U.S. territories, requiring the tech giant to pay states up to $18 billion and make major changes to how kids can engage with its apps. The big picture. Meta lawyers have been spending a lot of time in court this year, losing or settling lawsuits brought by states, school districts, and individual plaintiffs over how the platform has addicted users. It's a reckoning similar to the one the tobacco industry faced in the 90s. And while Meta may be front and center, expect nearly every social media platform to feel the heat. Behind the settlement, Meta settled just before CEO Mark Zuckerberg would need to take the stand to testify. So it's safe to say the company didn't want him to face the music. Meta agreed to pay $18 billion over a 10-year period. Payments will go to every state except New Mexico, which separately settled, and Florida, which still plans to go to trial. The company will also implement a default 2-hour time limit for users under 18, a night mode that blocks the apps for minors between midnight and 6 a.m., and a school mode that disables push notifications during school hours from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The time limits can only be changed by the user's parents. A federal judge still needs to approve the settlement, but that's expected to happen quickly. Closing thoughts. There's a fascinating wrinkle to the settlement. Meta will only be required to pay 70% of the settlement if TikTok and YouTube don't voluntarily agree to each also pay $5.3 billion to the states and adopt similar restrictions for underage users. TikTok and YouTube have yet to comment on that deal point, but Meta plans to make a big ad push to pressure them to follow suit. Meta doesn't want to be the only platform with a hand tied behind its back. Amazingly, Meta's stock went up yesterday because analysts believed the company would have to settle for way more than it did, with penalties possibly surpassing $1 trillion. Did Meta actually get off easy? Prediction: don't expect TikTok and YouTube to make those concessions voluntarily. Another lawsuit may be just around the corner. Together with Adio, supercharge your CRM with Adio. When I think of revenue, I think of Adio. Shriman Shrestha, head of business at Granola's revenue motion, runs on Adio. Here's what that adds up to: 0 missed leads and 10x faster access to customer context, 83% faster lead triage, 5 hours saved per week with automated updates. Try Adio for free. Bill Gates sounds the alarm. On AI, Bill Gates penned a 12-page manifesto warning that society is ill-prepared and ill-equipped to handle the changes coming in the AI era. Why it hits. Bill Gates is one of the most influential voices in tech and business. As nearly all of Silicon Valley evangelizes AI, with the curious exception of Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, Gates drawing a line in the sand should set off alarm bells for government officials and inspire some policy ideas for regulating the tech. Behind the ideas, while Gates believes AI will make some major strides in energy, medicine, and agriculture, he thinks humans are in for a rough ride. WSJ has a breakdown of why the longtime tech leader feels that way. Gates writes that many entry and mid-level jobs are susceptible to disruption, especially in law, customer service, software, and manufacturing. He says America doesn't have the social safety net for mass layoffs, and communities haven't reckoned with the loss of dignity that comes from not having work. He also says that American infrastructure and corporations aren't prepared for AI-powered cyber attacks, that fraud and surveillance could multiply to unprecedented levels, and that automated war could wreak untold havoc. Gates also writes that AI could flatline interpersonal relationships as people turn to AI enabled echo chambers for emotional support and kids become addicted to chatbots. Final warning: Gates didn't pull any punches when he wrote, "Even under the best circumstances, the transition to this new AI era will be one of the most turbulent times in human history." A big vibe shift from his manifesto on AI in 2023. But he does offer some solutions. That includes levying payroll taxes on AI systems or robots to economically disincentivize replacing workers and setting up a worker relief fund. He also said the government should designate some roles as human reserved, jobs where automation would displace too many workers who wouldn't be able to find new work, or roles that people really don't think robots should do. In other words, it's a slow drip quota on the full AI replacement of some sectors. Honestly, even those solutions sound chilling. The future. Considering his clout, Gates could become one of the most important voices for AI regulation in Washington. Together with ETN Europe's Tech Show, Right in Your Inbox ETN broadcasts live from London every weekday, covering startups, frontier AI labs, and tech policy in real time. Each day, the newsletter picks the one story in tech that matters most and explains why. You'll also get guest previews and sharp takes. Last week's guests included a $1 billion founder and Klarna's CMO. Stay ahead of the latest tech and AI headlines. Subscribe for free. Deep dives. Listen, NYT sits down with actor Matthew Rhys to talk about his breakout Apple series, Widow's Bay. Watch The One chats with artist Olivia Dean about her new album, The Art of Love. Read TechCrunch talks with OpenAI head of product development Thibaut Sotillo about making discovery his guiding design philosophy. Percent of you voted, "Yes, I did" in yesterday's poll. Did you take a vacation this summer? They were all US based, though. It just felt more economical and safer, given our country's tarnished reputation on the world stage. Drove cross country and back with my dog, Maryland to Nevada and back. Spent a month in Europe as a family of four: Poland, Denmark, and Switzerland. The hidden gem was Engelberg Brunny, Switzerland, a must do if you have children under 10. I had surgery, so in essence, I stayed in bed for a couple of weeks. I guess that's a vacation. I'm on one now in the south of France. Let's keep the conversation going. Join Poll of the Day so your opinions can shine. Discover how your views line up with your peers, check out cool insights, and have some fun. It's data with personality. Quick hits entertainment. Media: Shonda Rhimes' new overall deal with Netflix now encompasses merchandise and live events. Sports streamer DAZN has acquired media tech firm Everpass as it plots an expansion into the US. SoundCloud is letting musicians sell songs directly to fans on the platform, and the company won't take a cut. Technology Hyundai CEO Jose Munoz said the company is considering selling humanoid robots at its car dealerships. Fitbit founders James Park and Eric Friedman debuted a new device that can allegedly monitor a wearer's physical and mental health without being connected to a smartphone. Uber will now let parents check on their traveling kids via a live feed from their driver's smartphone. Creator economy Instagram is rolling out automated video editing with a new feature called First Draft. A creator class action lawsuit is suing Twitch for allegedly scraping content to train Amazon's AI models without creators' consent. iShowSpeed wants you to eat some KFC ranch. Partnerships. Community. Podcast. Friends Today's email was written by David Vendrell, edited by Nick Comney, pulled and copy edited by Kate Cuniff, published by Darlene Salazar.